we get. But most likely we'll probably finish this pretty quickly, pretty early. We actually got to take a look at perpetual inventory and how to do the LIFO costing method. Now we're actually going to be looking into now the moving average costing method. So as you guys remember, it's similar to weighted average, except here is one difference. To calculate the cost per item, again, just like periodic, we don't need to calculate a cost per item anymore, because now we need to consider that we need to take an average. So every time we make a purchase of an item, or every time we sell an item, we need to constantly keep calculating an average cost per item. So therefore, with the total cost and the total amount of items that you have, you're constantly going to be recalculating that every single time. So this is also where a lot of your rounding errors will come into play, all right? But the rest of the equations, they all stand forth as the same things that you should be calculating for when we do our inventory worksheet. The only difference is now we're considering instead of doing a cost per item, we have an average cost per item. So again, same scenario, but now we're looking in context of using moving average. So you're actually going to see how every time we make a purchase and every time we sell something, the average is moving along, okay? And that's why we call it moving average. So let's go back to this thing right here. So on June 1st, okay, we made a purchase of 100 toys at $1.25. So here I placed it into my inventory worksheet for 125 plus $25 freight, giving you $150. Now, because this one is the only batch and it's already there, right? That's the first thing that we did. We made our first purchase of inventory. We know that we can calculate our cost per item, because at the end of the day, even if we don't make any other purchases, that's the only one you have. So here, the average cost for the first batch is going to be $1.50. Okay? So then, of course, we sold some along the way. So when we did that, of course, this is where it's going to stay the same, right? We're going to take that 150 and we're going to go ahead and we're going to calculate the cost here. So, of course, we know we're going to get $82.50, and we're going to take that right away out of my batch of 100. So now I should have a remainder of 45 from my first batch. Okay. Now let's see what happens when I make a purchase of another inventory. So on June 5th, I decided to buy more inventory. Okay. I decided to purchase another 100 toys at $1.28. Okay. Now, of course, this is going to be standard as well. We're going to take a look at this and we're going to calculate it as if nothing is different, because we need to ultimately get a total cost in order for us to even solve for our average cost per item. So in this case, we're going to do just as normal. We know that the purchase price is going to be $128 plus $26 freight, giving our guests a grand total of $154. Now here's the question here. You can choose to calculate the cost per item, but it wouldn't benefit you at all. It would just be another extra piece of information or an extra calculation that you didn't have to do. So instead of doing that, what we're going to do is, now that we have our 45 and we have our 100, we're going to add those two together, right? Because we know that the cost of my 45 was $67.50, and we know that my new batch is going to cost me $154. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to add these together. So here, since I added them together, I got a grand total of $145, and I got a grand total of $221.50. Now is where I can go ahead and calculate my new cost per item. So here, I divide my 221.50 by my 145 to get me a grand total cost per item to be $1.5275. Yada yada yada. Okay. So that's what's most important, because at this point, every time we make a purchase, we're gonna adjust our cost per item. Okay. All right. Now, in this scenario, I decided to purchase an additional 100 items. So again, I do my calculation here. I know that since I bought another additional 100 items for $1.30 each, so 130 plus $27 gives you $157. And then now I need to recalculate my total cost, because now I have a newer balance, right? I need to add that additional 100 items to my 145, bringing me now to 245. Adding that 157 to the 150, now I have 378.50. And now I have to recalculate my cost, my average cost per item, and that's going to get me now to $1.54 and 48 cents. Okay, so as you can see, every time I made a purchase, I'm moving the average along the way, because the idea is that when I'm doing this, I'm trying to spread the cost evenly amongst each item. Okay, so there you go. So now I have a total of 254 items, and I'm going to sell them at $1.5448. Okay. So here you go. Here's the next scenario here, where I did sell on June 12th, right? So I pushed everything up. So now I sold a total of 120 items. Well, boom, because I'm dealing with only one number, I don't need to have to keep track of which batch came first. I'm only dealing with my 245, and I know that each item is going to cost me $1.5448. So with that being said, I'm going to take it from here, calculate that, and this is going to be you have to use your equal round because it's not a rounded number. Okay, so I get $185.39, and I'm going to eliminate it right away to get you now a new cost, or a new quantity of 125 with a new total cost of 193.11. And again, you need to recalculate your average cost per item, because you could be off by a tenth of a penny. And that tenth of a penny could make a difference, especially if you sell 1,000 items, then or 100 items even. You could lose $1 easily right there. Okay, so again, we need to recalculate that amount to be, again, it's going to be slightly different. It's not going to make a super huge difference, but because we have new cost and we have a new quantity, we need to recalculate that average cost. And here you go. My ending inventory is 125 at a total of 193.11. Right? So as you can see, this one is the most easiest one, because you don't need to keep track of, you don't need to flood your inventory worksheet. All you're doing is every time you make a purchase, calculate the average. Every time you sell something, you recalculate the average. Okay? And yep, that's it. Now, of course, when we continue on with beginning inventory, because we solved from the previous one, all we're doing is we're going to carry it over into the next section. So as we know from the previous one, we knew that we had 125 items costing me $193.11, right? I carried that over. Okay. So then on June 18, you sold 90 toys. Straightforward. We know we've already calculated, so all we're going to do is we're going to carry the information over. All right, so here we do, it's $1.5448. Again, we calculate that much, and then we subtract it out, now bringing our new total balance to be 35 items left at costing me a total of $54.07. And again, I'm going to recalculate my cost per item to reflect that it is now 154.48. So here it didn't really change. Okay. So then now on June 21st, here we made a purchase of more inventory. So therefore, our average cost per item is going to change. So we enter in this right here. We calculate that the purchase price is 132 and plus 26 gives us a total of 158. So now we're going to recalculate. We're going to add up our totals now. So instead of looking at 35, instead of just looking at 100, we're adding them up together to get 135, costing me a grand total of 212.07. And now I recalculate my average cost per item to be now 157.08. Now you see that from jumping from batch to different batch, we just increased our cost per item by 3 cents. That's a lot, okay? But at least we're spreading the cost amongst everything. It's not like you're costing them all at $1 something. Like it's not getting more expensive. It's just giving you a flat equal rate, okay? Now the next concept, the next thing that happened on June 25th is you made an additional purchase of 100 toys. So again, we're going to calculate this and we're going to add them up together. So now instead of 135, we have an additional 100, giving us 235. And we're adding our totals together. And now we recalculate our average cost per item to now be $1.59.17. So as you can see, depending on the price and your total cost, it could either increase or it could also decrease. It just depends on what the purchase price is and how much your costs are purchasing them at. So it's not that it's going to always increase. It can decrease if you have give or take you purchase something that was lower than this time around versus this for the next day. So now that we have an available balance of 235 items to sell, costing me at 374. So let's see what happens when I sell my items for 120 on June 27th. So here I placed it. Again, I just popped in that average cost per item, calculate it, subtract it out, and then I know I have my new quantity of 115 with a new total cost of 183.06. And of course, I'm going to recalculate that. So here, notice this. My average cost per item has changed by 1/1000 of a penny. So the next time you sell something, whether it's in bulk or thousands, hundreds, that penny is going to make a difference. Okay? So then here on the 28th, you sold an additional 65 units, which again, you put this to 65, and again, you're going to place the average cost per item, solve for it, subtract it out, and then find out that at the end of the given month, you have 50 items remaining, and it's going to be for $679.59. And of course, again, we're going to recalculate our average cost per item, and it has not changed, right? And that is it. This is the easiest one. But when we do it in Excel, it's going to be fairly a lot quicker than the other two, okay? And again, this is one of the more common ones you're going to actually be encountering because, again, most businesses, instead of having to keep track of every single item that they buy or every batch that they buy, most likely they'll use the average cost. And you'll learn this in QuickBooks as well, that even with QuickBooks, it's for small businesses and even medium-sized businesses. It's only corporations that give them the availability to do LIFO, FIFO, and other inventory methods. But for small businesses, your automatic assumption is average costing is going to be the most beneficial for you. Especially you don't want to cost everything too high or you don't want to cost anything too low. Okay? So let's go ahead and dive into our example here. Again, this is going to go very quickly. So here you go. Question number 1. Your inventory method is perpetual and it's moving average. Okay. So on May 5th, we purchased 1,000 units at $3 on an account with the freight costing you $100. So here on my first one, spin that big just a little bit. So again, here, date is going to be May 5th. We purchased 1,000 items at $3 with a freight of $100. Okay, so what's my total purchase price going to be?
$3,000.
Plus my freight giving me my total cost to be
$3,100.
And now, because this is my only batch and my only batch, what is my total cost per item going to be? $3.10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and enter this into my inventory on hand. Now, I'm going to show you my way because I think this is the easiest way to understand how to do this. So here, for my first one, I decided to do that. But what I want to do here is instead is I want my formula to be in my cost per item section. So I'm going to go ahead and take my total cost and I'm going to divide it by my quantity. Okay, it says I couldn't do that. Okay, so let me go ahead and undo that. So again, I'm going to clear this out. This should be this number here. And what I'm going to do is this should be my my total cost divided by my quantity to give me now 310. Now this one is where my formula is going to lie. Where often where when we were doing our inventory worksheet on hand, my formula was actually in my total cost section. But because I'm constantly figuring out what my average cost is going to be, right? This is why I'm going to keep my formula in here. So instead of having me to recalculate it every single time, it's all going to be in this one. So again, it looks like that because I don't have any values in here. Okay. So now that I have that, our next scenario here is that we sold 500 units at $10. So let's go ahead and calculate this. What is going to be in my cost of goods sold? So 7. We sold 550 units. What is my cost per item?
$310.
Okay. And with that being said, then what is going to be my value here or my total cost? $17.05. So we've seen this before. Let me go ahead and shrink this. So $17.05. Okay. Here, you could choose to eliminate it like I've been doing before, so then you can get an average cost per item. A new quantity here, but also a new average cost. Because in this case, if we apply it here, it makes it much more easier to actually be able to divide it here. So here, I have a new cost of $13.95, and I have a new quantity of the 450. Now, of course, if I were to go ahead and carry this on, so what I can do is that's what I want you to do. This is how I do my average cost per item, is that since I have it like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and carry it across. So 450, and this is the 1395. Then boom, it automatically calculates it for me right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wipe this out or black it out. Okay, so now as I keep doing that, every time I make a purchase or every time I make a new quantity, I'm going to move my average cost along. So instead of having to calculate it twice, I'm actually going to calculate it once by using this formula right here. So that's what this is how I do my average, my moving average. Excuse me. Okay. So that's what happens here. All right, so let's go ahead and see what has happened next on May 10.
We purchased 850.
At 325 with a freight of 75, so 850. Okay, so here on May 10, we purchased 850 at 325 with a freight of 75. So what is my total purchase going to be here? 2762. And then what is my total cost going to be here?
28,750.
Good. Now, because I have my average right here, right, or my I did my calculations here, I'm going to go ahead and add them up together because now I know that I have right now inventory. I have 450. I made an additional $850 850 item purchase. So therefore, I'm going to add up my totals right here. Right now I have 42.20, 42.32.50. And what I'm going to do is instead of calculating my average cost, which you could do here, I'm going to go ahead and move it along into my inventory worksheet because I do already have my formula in here already. So here I'm already calculating that I should have a total of 300 items in quantity with a total of 23.32.50, and my average cost per item is now $3.25 compared to the above one, which was $3.10. So there you go. I made it a lot more simple and a lot more easier so you don't have to calculate everything over and over and over. And instead of having to adjust it in here, I'm just going to move right along. Okay, I'm just going to eliminate it. Now what's going to happen is the numbers are still here. Okay, because I need to keep them in here because I'm using Excel and I'm cell referencing them. So if I delete any of these information on here, therefore my whole worksheet's going to be messed up. So in this case, this is one reason why I keep the numbers there, but it's also good for you to also keep note as well that you know what these numbers are because of, for purposes of keeping track of your transactions, right? You did your things here, okay? You can keep them under wraps, like the writing right now is all black. If you want to display it so you know how much it's changing over time, then go ahead and highlight it and change it to the font color to be white. So then that way you can also see how much of a difference your items are actually changing. So here we started from 310. Now it is 325. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on. So let's see what happened next. What happened on May 12th?
We sold 360 units.
We sold 360 units. So May 12th, we sold 360. And of course, because we're only dealing with one number, we only have one number to focus on. This number right here. So of course, I'm going to go ahead and do my equal round formula. And what is my total cost of goods sold here? 1172.08. Now notice this. I don't have to split up my amounts. I would calculate it and I would grab that amount and journalize it immediately. That's the easiest thing about this as well. Okay. So again, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate this 360 to give me a grand total of 940. And again, same thing here. I'm going to eliminate this to get me a grand total of 30, 60, 42. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it right along. And it's going to automatically calculate my average cost per item. And now, notice this. It's the same. So we're good here. Okay. All right. So then what has happened next?
We sold another 600 units.
We sold an additional 600 units. Okay, and it's good because we automatically know how much inventory we have at any given time because we have an average cost per item. So let me see. This was May 15th. We sold an additional 600 units, costing me the 325.67. And of course, I'm gonna go enter in my equal round formula once again. So what is my total cost per item going to be here?
3.25577.
Total
cost 1953.6.
Good. All right. And of course, I'm going to eliminate it here. So I should have now 340 left in my inventory. Same thing here. I'm going to eliminate my 1953.46, and that should give me now 1106.96. So once I have that, again, I'm going to carry my values over into my inventory worksheet, and my new average cost has slightly changed. It's changed by a 10,000th of a penny. Okay. All right. So then what has happened next?
We purchased another 300 units.
We purchased another 300 units at $350 with a freight costing you $20. So on May 20th. Okay, May 20th. We purchased 300 items at, was it $350 with a freight of $20?
Yes.
So what is my total purchase price here?
1050. 1070.
And my total cost is $1070. Good. So now because I have the number that I solved from the previous section, I'm going to go ahead and add those numbers together. So now I should have a total of 640 in my inventory. And the total cost of that is going to be you making that calculation here. You add these two numbers together. So now I have 2176. Again, I bring it over into my inventory worksheet. And now my new average cost is going to increase all the way up to 340. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and eliminate that. Okay? So let's go ahead and move right along. What happened on May 22nd?
You sold 450.
You sold 450. So May 22nd, we sold 450 items. And we're going to take our average cost of 340. And of course, I'm going to do my equal round. So what's my total cost of goods sold here?
15, 30, 60, 68.
Good. 15, 30, 68. Again, I'm going to subtract from 450 from 640, and that should give us now a new grand total of 190 items. Same thing here. I'm going to subtract out 15, 30, 68, and I should now get a new total cost of 64628. And I'm going to go ahead and carry that over. So now my new average cost per item has actually decreased by 10,000, three thousandth of a penny. I have no idea what number that is, but it changed by three cents. Okay. Okay. Just double checking my work here. All right. Go ahead and eliminate that. So now I only have 190 items left. And what has happened next? 25th of May?
Purchase 615.
Yes, at $375 with the freight costing you $50. How much did I purchase? $650. Okay? So what is my total purchase price going to be here?
2437.50.
$2437.50 plus my $50 freight.
2487.50.
Good. All right. Let's add our columns together. So what is 190 plus 650?
840.
I should have 840 left. All right. And what's my total cost going to be? My new total cost? Okay, it should be 3,133.78. Okay. And again, we're going to bring this over. So what is my new average cost per item going to be?
$373 is mine.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. All right, and then let's see what happened here. Then lastly, or second to last, what happened on May 27th? We sold 740 items, and of course, on May 31st, you should have at least 100 items left in inventory. So let's go ahead and validate that. So let's go ahead and on May 27th, we sold 740 items. My average cost per item is going to be the $3.73. So what's my total cost of goods sold going to be here?
2760.71.
Hold on. $27.60.71. Good. All right. I'm going to subtract that out as well to get my new ending balance of 100, which is correct. That's exactly what the physical count says, right? And of course, I'm going to eliminate the 2760.71 from my balance here to get a new grand total of the 373.07. And of course, I'm going to carry it along. So what's my average cost per item going to be? $337. Yes. Okay. Good. So again, as you can see, this went by a lot quicker and a lot faster. And look, the cluttering of the inventory worksheet was a little less than that. We didn't have to deal with any numbers or any colors or anything like that. So as far as this one, this is probably, like I said, the most easiest one we can do, and it went by a lot quicker. So let's go ahead, finish up the last portion, okay? So here we have 100 items, right? We solved for it, and it's going to cost me a total of $373.07. All right, so with that being said, now we are continuing on with our inventory. Our inventory method is still perpetual, and it's still moving average. But here we have beginning inventory, again, of May 31st. You have a total of 100 items on hand. So let's go ahead and take that information and place it into this the new worksheet, because we're starting the worksheet for June. So here we can either copy them over. So let me see. Let me go to my second worksheet. So I know that my inventory on hand is 100 items, costing me $373.07. So again, my formula here is going to be my total cost divided by my quantity. And what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to take that piece of information or that formula, and I'm going to pull it all the way down, because I can for Excel. I can fill in the formula going all the way down. And I'm probably going to fill it probably halfway, like probably here. Okay? And of course, I'm going to also place the date as well, because you need to remember that it is on May 31st. Okay, that you're entering in this inventory on hand. So again, what happened on June 5th?
Purchase 600.
We purchased $804, and it is $100 freight. So June 5th, we purchased 800 at $4 with a freight of 100. Okay, so what is my total purchase price here?
32.
Yes, 32. Good. Okay, and what is my total cost?
33.
33. Now, because I have beginning inventory, what is my automatic assumption going to be? Am I going to do my cost per item here, or am I going to take an average cost per item, add together that 100 items, and also add together the total cost? How am I going to figure out my new average cost per item?
Add the two quantities together.
Exactly. So in this case, I'll go ahead and show it to you here. That I'm going to add the 100 here, and also add the 37 here. And I'm going to go ahead and add them together, just so that you can see what it looks like, or so you know when I post the answer. So I have a total of 900 here, and my total cost is going to be
3673.07.
good. And of course, I'm going to bring it right along. So my average cost per item is going to be
4.01 081188.
Good. Excellent. Okay, so good. We added those two numbers together, and now that's what happened. So when you have beginning inventory, all you have to do is just add them together. There's no real difference here. So make sure that you know that. Okay, it's not the beginning of your purchases, it's going to be your total amount that you have available on hand. And on top of that, we're doing perpetual inventory, so you're going to add it to inventory regardless of when you make a purchase. Okay, so then what has happened on June 7th?
We sold 350 units.
We sold 350 units. So what was that? June 7th? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. June 7th. We sold 350 units, costing me now the 40811. So what is my total cost of goods sold going to be here?
$1428.42.
Sorry, 1428.42. Okay. Again, I'm going to subtract that out to get my new amount. So 900 minus 350 gives you 550. And my new total cost is going to be $2,244.65. So with those new numbers, what is my total cost? What is my cost per item? What's my average cost per item going to be?
I have 4.081.
4. Good.
Yeah, like that.
Good. Okay. Of course, I'm gonna block this section out so we don't see it, because our new average is right here. Okay. All right. Let's see what has happened next on June 10.
Purchase 750.
We purchased an additional 750 units at $425 with a freight of $75. Okay, so this is June 10. We got 750 at $4. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. So here I have June 10, 750 at $4.25 with a freight of 75. So what's my total purchase price?
3187.
Good. Plus my freight giving me a total cost of
3,262.50.
good. So now I entered this information in. Now I can add up my total quantities. So what is my total quantity going to be here?
1,300.
1,300. Okay, good. And what's my total cost going to be now?
$5,507.50.
Good. 5507.15. And then lastly, what is my average cost per item going to be?
4.2362.
4.2362. So now we've increased our average by 20 cents, or almost 20 cents, less than 20 cents. Okay. All right, almost there, guys. So what has happened on June 12th?
You sold for 50 units.
Yes, you did. So you sold 450 units on June 12th. And this one, we're going to take our average. So what is my total cost of goods sold here?
$1906.32.
1906.32 is correct. Of course, we're going to take that and adjust our inventory right here. We're going to subtract that 1906.32, and we're going to get our new grand total of 3,683 cents. So what is going to be my new average cost per item?
4.23627.
Good. So it has increased again by 10,000th of a penny. Okay. And I'm going to block this part out. Okay. So then what has happened on June 15?
You sold 500 units.
We sold another 500 units. So on June 15, sold 500 at 423. So what is my total cost of goods sold going to be here?
2118.30.
2118. Okay, I rounded up, so it should be 14. So again, if I am going to eliminate 500 from my 850, I should have a remainder of 350. And if I subtract the 2118.14, I should get a new total balance of 1482.69. All right, so let's go ahead and bring that right along. So what is my new average cost per item going to be?
4.23627.
Okay, so now it keeps dropping more and more and more. So again, every time you make a purchase or every time you make a sale, it will change, especially because we're dealing with rounded numbers. It's going to change your average 100%. Okay. So here we still only have 350 items costing me at that much. So what happened on June 20th?
Purchase 350 units.
Yes, at 4:05.
35.
Wait, hold on. You said purchase 350?
June 20. We are in June 20.
We're at June 20th.
Purchase 600.
Purchase 3 is okay. 600 at 4:05
Over
with a freight of 20. So here we're going to go ahead and enter June 20th. We made a purchase of 600 items at 4:05 with a freight of 20. So let me double check that. June 20th, 600, 4:05, and freight costing 20. So what is my purchase price here?
2430.
24.30. And what is my
2450.
24.50? So let's add this to our previous batch right here. So 350 plus 600 should give you 950. Same thing here. 1482.69 plus 24.50 should give you 39.32.69. So what is now my new average cost per item?
4.13967.
Good. 4.139637. Good. All right. Just a little more, guys. So what happened on the 22nd of June?
We sold 250.
We sold 250 items. June 22nd, we sold 250 items. And it cost me $4.13. So what is my cost? What is my total cost of goods sold?
1034.92.
1034.92. We're gonna subtract this out, so we should have a total of 700. So therefore, we should have a total of 2897.77. So what is my new average cost per item?
4.13967.
14.13, yes. So it didn't change by too much. It just only dropped by, a 10,000th of a penny. So we can go ahead and go forth. So then what has happened on June 25th?
Purchase 350.
Yes, we purchased 350 units at $4.35 each, with the freight costing you $50. Okay, so 350 for $4.35. So this was on June 25th. 350 at 435 and 50. So what is my purchase price here?
1522.4.
Good.
1532.
Good. Okay. And then lastly, let's go ahead and add up our numbers. So if we had originally 700 items and we added another 350, you should have 1050. Okay, and of course, adding those two numbers together, let me double check that. It should be 4,470 and 27 cents. So what is now my new average cost per item?
4.25.
Good,
74.
good. So this one, it actually comes out a little even, or actually it doesn't extend out to that long, but good. It should be it should be 25.74. Good. All right, last but not least, on the June 27th, what did we do?
We sold 550 units at 10.
Yes, we did. And on top of that, last thing that we need to ensure is that by June 30th, we should have a grand total of 500 units on hand. So we sold 550 on June 27, so 627, 550. It's gonna cost me $4.2574. So what is my total cost of goods sold here?
2341.57.
2341.57. Good. I'm going to eliminate that. So I should have, boom, a total of 500 units. And that means I did this correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract out this 2341. And I'm going to adjust my inventory. So now it should be now a total of 2128.70. So what is now my average cost per item?
4.2574.
So it did not change. Good. All right, I'm going to eliminate this. Boom. And that is it. Okay. pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's one of the more easiest, or it's the easiest, in my opinion, to do average costing because, again, you're not having to deal with what came first. You're not having to deal with all those calculations. Here, we don't need to make any extra calculations on this side. We just gather a total amount. We only have one batch to refer to, and we eliminate it right then and there. And doing this allows you to make your calculations more accurate. You're not going to have your rounding errors. But if you do choose to, which we will get to see in the next week when we do our review, I'm not going to use the little worksheet in the middle. I'm actually going to just eliminate that and save it for only purchases and do all the calculations directly into the actual inventory on hand, which you'll get to see. It's a lot more cleaner. But again, I just wanted to show this to you so when I do post the answers, it's not blank and you guys know and how to refer back to it. So other than that, if you guys don't have any further questions, thank you guys again for sticking along. You guys got to go home at least 1 hour early. So again, compared to our previous one and this one, we got through this one a lot quicker. Do you guys have any questions? And again, which one do you guys like better?
I like this.
Yes. And it's the easiest, and that's why it's the most commonly used one.
So you mean to say we get a new worksheet on Monday?
Yes, it's posted already. I already posted everything. So the chapter 8 exercises. So this weekend, okay, all you have to do this weekend is you have journal number 3 due. Okay?